Hi, everybody. What's up? It's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean, and I'm about to guide you through today's Tabata HIIT circuit. Just making sure everything's streaming okay here. Uh, oh, it is. I got real confuddled. Okay, so gather your weights. You're going to want a variety of different weights today. So you can start marching around and finding those. Probably going to want some lighter weights for our starting moves, our scapular squeezes, for our bent elbow lat raises. But you might want something a little bit heavier as we come into some triceps. So while we're here right now, just getting some lateral side to side step taps. Go ahead, give me a couple really big shoulder rolls up, back, and down. Even if you have to slow your feet down a little bit to focus on really warming up this upper body and starting to draw your rib cage in so that your center line is tight. Oops, I forgot to hit start on my timer. And let's go ahead, change direction of these shoulder circles. I will admit I think I slept funny or I keep testing myself because I'm like, could that be COVID? Something really is not feeling its best in my upper left shoulder. So please pardon me today. We're still going to have a great workout. All right, go ahead, open and close those arms. Switch into a step and a cross tap in front. Maybe even take a bend of one knee so you're tapping your heel to the floor and working to bring your pinky fingers behind you, still with some really nice big breaths. So let's get about 4 more taps on each side. 3, still breathing, still drawing in from the center line. Last one. Awesome. Bend your knees, inhale, stretch your arms all the way up to the sky. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Squeeze your glutes, hips forward, and arms come down by your side. Let's do that 2 more times. Bend your knees, inhale, arms up, start to squeeze your glutes, hips forward, arms come up overhead, shoulders relax away from ears, big proud lift of your chest, and arms come down. 1 more time. Bend your knees, inhale, arms up. Shoulders away from ears, draw your belly in and exhale, rain or swan dive down to the floor. Inhale into a nice big half lift, flat back, draw your belly in, find length through the crown of your head, and exhale down to your forward fold. Bend your knees as generously as you need to so that your belly comes on top of your thighs like a chair, and then get some movement in your hips by feet firmly staying planted and your hips moving side to side. If the floor feels far away, you can have your hands on your shins. You can always wrap your arms around your legs or maybe your hands on the back of your calves. And as you want more of a stretch in your hamstrings, start to bring a little bit more weight forward to your toes. Or maybe you're keeping that generous bending your knees and just moving your hips. Awesome. Exhale, relax your head down to the floor 1 more time. And then inhale, slowly roll yourself all the way up. Proud power pose. Decompress your shoulders. Stretch your fingers all the way down towards the floor, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Proud lift of your chest, that little squeeze of your glutes and hips forward. Take 1 more nice deep inhale. And exhale, relax. Shake it out. Okay, let's get into round 1, which will also help to be a bit of a warm up. If you need some water, grab some water. Try to take your sips of water between the moves that we're doing. I'll join you. L'chaim to life. Yay! All right, move number 1 with your slightly lighter weights is going to be a nice scapular squeeze. So starting with maybe you have your hands all the way to the front, but your hands can be out and about a wide. We're just going to squeeze shoulder blades together and then take a little bit of a return to the front. This is an exercise that you can also do with a band for a little bit more constant tension. So once again, shoulders are rolled down and back, chest is lifted up nice and proud, rib cage is drawn in so there's no overarching of your back, even a little tuck of your pelvis, bend of your knees. We're going to squeeze shoulder blades together, pinkies lead back, and then just take that gentle bit forward 2 times, 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. Starts in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So roll the shoulders down and back, plant your feet, exhale, find your squeeze. Inhale, bring it back. You don't have to come all the way forward, but you can if you want to. I'm going to stop at about 45 degrees in. Awesome. That was 20 seconds. Relax your arms down. We're going to do it one more time. So roll your shoulders down and back. Get ready. Take a big inhale. Lift your arms up and exhale. Find that squeeze. You might be able to use some slightly heavier weights for the bent arm lat raise that we're doing. Keep that rib cage pulled in where shoulder blades are squeezing in towards each other and everything else is as still as it can be. Ooh, arms down. All right, now we're gonna bend our arms, elbows at 90 degrees, hands, palms in line with your elbows. We're gonna raise up to shoulders height and then lower it back down. Do your best, we've begun, to keep your hands, palms in line with your elbows. If your hands start creeping in towards your chest and your elbows are raising out to the side, that probably means your weight is a little bit too heavy for you. And while you're lifting, we're still finding that squeeze of the shoulder blade scapula that we found just a moment ago. Take a break with that scapular squeeze. So we're building on the movement. We're going to do those 90-degree bent raises one more time. Shoulders down and back, elbows bent. Here we go. Still using your breath. Make sure you're not holding it. That also can be an indicator that your weights might be a little too heavy. Shoulders are relaxed away from your ears. Lots of length through the crown of your head. Still have that belly pulled in nice and tight. You can have that slight bend in your knees. Awesome. Next move is going to be from right here, from hands, palms in line with the shoulders, fighting rotation up, still hands on top of elbows, and then coming right back down. Let's go. 20 seconds. And you still keep your elbows back. So we've still got that little bit of scapular squeeze, that bend in your knees, a little tuck of the pelvis, so you're not overarching your back behind you. 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2. Carefully come out of this one. Awesome. We got one more time with those rotator cuffs. So bend your elbows, inhale, lift them up, and then start your little happy, lucky cat move. Keep focusing on that proud lift of your chest and try to feel your back working too. Upper back is definitely getting some action. We got one more move in this first circuit, and then we're going to get some triceps in. So now from here, just pressing those arms up overhead for an overhead press and bringing them back down. You ready? Proudly lift your chest, take that bend of your knees, lower down, inhale up. I like to exhale on my way down and inhale, press up. You might have switched to some heavier weights. Again, I'm keeping things a little light today because things are feeling a little challenged in my left shoulder. Awesome. Take your break. We got one more time through for our overhead press. In 3, 2, 1. Here you go. Make sure you're not overarching your back. So bring that slight bend back to your knees, that little tuck of your pelvis forward, so it's under you. You can also think about a little external rotation of your hips, which also brings your pelvis gently under you. We did it, everyone. Relax those arms down. Go ahead, grab yourself a sip of water. Perhaps you switch to some heavier weights. We've got triceps coming up next. We're going to do one round of both arms moving together, one round of single arm low, single arm high, other arm, and then both arms together up overhead. So with that said, if you're grabbing a quick sip of water, make it happen. I'm still going to keep my weights a little light to be kind to myself today, but with challenge comes change. So maybe you try something heavier and you find that you need to switch it out, and that's a great place to be. I would rather you challenge yourself and realize that you need to step down than keep doing the easiest thing and then you won't see the same results. All right, so we're going to take a slight little hinge from the hips now. Lots of weight in your heels, but pressing down also through the balls of the feet. Drawing your elbows up high, we're just going to extend from the lower arm. Upper arm stays glued to the upper body. Ready? In 3, 2, here we go. Eye gaze down to the floor, but at a diagonal, so there's no wrinkles in your neck, and you're using your exhale to extend your arms nice and long. And then control as it brings back in. We're still squeezing the shoulder blade scapula together. Low belly pulls in nice and tight. Relax your arms down and release. Same thing one more time. So these are short circuits. Also, I encourage you to try that challenging weight. Bend your knees, hinge from your hips, begin again. If you want a little bit more here, instead of your pinky leading towards the back of the room, you can rotate your wrist up to the sky. When you find that extension, feel a little bit more challenging your triceps. And maybe you have to switch to a lighter weight to find that little bit more. Go ahead, release. I'm going to switch to the lighter weight for the single arm. Find that rotation. I'm going to hold on to the other weight though. Well, let's begin. Single arm only. So only one arm is kicking back. The other arm can be completely relaxed, or you can hold it up in this row still. For 3, 2, 1. Take a break. Let's switch. We'll get the other arm in the same position, and then we'll change our setup. Other arm starts in 3, 2, 1. I hope you're setting yourself up on that countdown and not waiting till I say 1 to get into position. You've only got 20 seconds of work. And remember that with challenge comes change. So you need to challenge yourself and be ready for it. What can your body do today? 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Now we're going to get that single arm tricep. So one arm is going to extend up overhead. Bicep stays close by the ears. I like to have my hands at my chest. That helps me to stay controlled. Try not to let that elbow wing out. Let's get started. So bending, reaching all the way behind your head, and then extending pinky up towards the ceiling. You can take a staggered stance if you need to. Really try and keep that bicep by your ear. Awesome. Let's switch arms. I'm going to bring my opposite hand to the chest, extend arm up towards the ceiling. Feet can be side by side or staggered. Take the bend in your elbow. Both sides of the body are not the same. And that's why we're making these unilateral moves happen. You might find it as much easier on one side. Maybe things seem a little scary on the other side. So feel free to lighten that weight up. Find your good form. Biceps staying by ears as opposed to that arm going out wide. You're going to switch to a heavier weight now. We got one more time through both arms at the same time. So inhale, arms up overhead. Biceps still stay by ears. Bend your elbows. Extend to the sky. It might be a little bit easier to keep those biceps bracing by your ears while you're doing both arms at the same time. But again, that's the reason we do the unilateral move one at a time so both arms can equally strengthen and that we're not just leaning on our dominant arm. Take a 10-second break. We start again in 3, 2, inhale, arms up. Here we go. Last of the triceps. Next, we're going to come down onto the floor. Oh man, I had this great move we were going to do today, and I realized I forgot to put it in. So you know what? We'll get to it next week or later in the week. Awesome. Excellent. Go ahead, put your heavier weights down. You will need one medium to heavy weight on the floor for when we get to our Russian twists. Everything else, however, is unweighted. I'm going to bring. Okay, remember, you can always get a heavier weight later. Let's come on down to the floor. We got we got 3 different moves that we're going to work between. So we're going to have 20 seconds of work. We're going to have 10 seconds of active recovery. For our 20 seconds of work, we're alternating between bear, which is when you are in tabletop. Hands, palms underneath of your chest and shoulders, toes tuck under, and knees just hover off of the floor. From bear, we'll send our hips up towards the sky, belly comes towards your thighs, or some down dog. And then when the timer beeps again, come back to your bear, but step yourself out into a plank. Even if your plank needs to have your knees on the floor, totally okay. Think about externally rotating your shoulders. What does that mean? Both in bear and in plank, I want you to externally rotate your shoulders. We do a lot of activities where we are internally rotating our shoulders. Texting, typing, driving. There's not as many activities where we're really opening up the chest. And yes, we have been practicing that a little bit today with those scapular squeezes that we did. So bring that into play right now while your hands are on the floor of rotating your chest and shoulders out, but keeping your ribs knit in, because there's a big temptation when those shoulders rotate out for your rib cage and your belly to dump down towards the floor. And it's up to you to draw it back in and find your flat back. All right, you got a little extra break. Let's get into our work period in 3, 2, 1. So toes tuck under. We're just hovering our knees as close to the floor as can be. And you're thinking about that external rotation of your shoulders. If you need a break, perhaps you put your knees to the floor for a second, or maybe you send your hips up for the down dog early and come back to your bear down dog in 3, 2, hips to the sky. Biceps by your ears.